Welcome back to Arsenal Updates, the channel where every big Arsenal story gets told the right way. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, drop a like, leave a comment, and share this video with every Arsenal fan you know. Now let's get into it. May 18th, 2026, Emirates Stadium, North London. 60,274 people packed inside one of the most iconic grounds in world football. The atmosphere? Electric. The stakes? Historic. And when the final whistle blew, Arsenal Football Club stood 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League. One win away from ending a 22-year title drought that has haunted this club, its players, and its fans for over 2 decades. This is not just a football story. This is a story about patience, pain, near misses, heartbreak. And now, finally, the very real possibility of redemption. And before this video is done, you are going to understand exactly how Arsenal got here, what happened on that night against Burnley, what it all means, and what the road ahead looks like. So sit back. This is the full story. To understand what Monday night meant, you have to go back. You have to go all the way back to 2004, the last time Arsenal lifted the Premier League trophy. Arsène Wenger, Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry, Robert Pires, Ashley Cole, that iconic squad that went the entire season unbeaten. 49 games without a loss across 2 seasons. They called themselves the Invincibles, and the name stuck, because nobody, to this day, has done what they did. But that was 2004, 22 years ago. Since then, Arsenal have watched Chelsea win it, watched Manchester United dominate, watched Manchester City win it again and again and again. They watched Liverpool claim their crown. They watched title after title pass them by. And for the last 3 seasons in a row, Arsenal finished as runners-up. 3 times. 3 painful, crushing, almost but not quite finishes. Each time they looked close. Each time the prize slipped through their fingers. The question everyone was asking coming into this 2025-26 season was simple. Is this finally the year? And for 38 weeks of football, Arsenal answered that question one match at a time. But this season almost fell apart. Don't let anyone tell you it was a smooth ride to the top, because it wasn't. On April 19th, just weeks ago, Arsenal travelled to the Etihad Stadium to face Manchester City in one of the most important fixtures of their season. And they lost. 2-1. A defeat that felt like a dagger through the heart of their title challenge. Manchester City smelled blood. The fans started talking. The pundits started writing. People began saying that Arsenal had done it again, that they had the talent, they had the squad, they had the manager. But when the moment came, they buckled. The nearly men tag came back. The narrative returned. Arsenal, so good, so consistent, but not quite champions. What happened next is the part that defines great teams from good ones. Arsenal did not fold. They did not panic. They did not let the noise from outside their walls break what they had built inside. Under Mikel Arteta, a manager who has spent nearly 7 years at this club, turning it from a mid-table embarrassment into a genuine superpower, Arsenal responded to that City defeat the only way champions respond. They won, and then they won again, and then again and then again. 4 consecutive wins after that loss at the Etihad. 4 clean sheets, 0 goals conceded, maximum points. By the time Monday night arrived, Arsenal had turned what looked like a title collapse into a title coronation waiting to happen. Now let's talk about the match itself. Arsenal versus Burnley at the Emirates. On paper it looked straightforward. Burnley were already relegated. Their season was over in every meaningful sense. But football does not care about paper. And Arsenal, carrying the weight of history, carrying the hopes of millions of fans around the world, had to go out and do their job. Mikel Arteta made a statement with his team selection. He went attacking. He named Kai Havertz, Martin Odegaard, Eberechi Eze and Bukayo Saka in his starting lineup. 4 technically gifted, creative, possession-hungry footballers in the same team, alongside the marauding energy of Riccardo Calafiori at left-back. This was not a team set up to park the bus and grind out a point. This was a team set up to win football. And for the opening half an hour, Arsenal dominated the ball, 61% possession by the end of the game. 13 shot attempts to Burnley's 5, 3 shots on target to Burnley's 0. On paper, it was total control. On the pitch, however, the goals were not coming. Havertz shot wide early. Leandro Trossard struck the base of the post from outside the area. So close, and yet so far. Then came the moment that briefly felt like the game might be snatched away before Arsenal even scored. In the 34th minute, Bukayo Saka drove into the box. A Burnley defender named Lucas Pires challenged him. Saka went down. Penalty? The Emirates crowd screamed yes. Referee Paul Tierney said no. VAR took a look and agreed with the referee. Mikel Arteta, standing on his technical area, looked like a man who had just been told his car had been towed. He was furious. Absolutely furious. But sport has a way of balancing things out. Just minutes later, Arsenal went back to what they do best. They had already tried 2 short corners in the same sequence without success. Then Saka stepped up to deliver the cross the old-fashioned way, direct, precise, into the danger zone. And Kai Havertz, the German striker who arrived at Arsenal from Chelsea and has been one of the most important players in this title charge, rose highest in a crowded 6-yard box and headed the ball into the back of the net. 1-0. Emirates erupts. History gets one step closer. That goal was Arsenal's 18th from a corner this season in the Premier League. 18. That is more than a quarter of their 69 league goals this season coming from set pieces. This is not an accident. This is coaching. This is preparation. This is Mikel Arteta's fingerprints all over a team that has been engineered to score in multiple ways. And that goal was also Bukayo Saka's 50th Premier League assist. Think about that. 50 assists in the Premier League. Saka is 24 years old. He now sits 5th on Arsenal's all-time Premier League assist list, behind only Dennis Bergkamp with 94, Thierry Henry with 74, Cesc Fabregas with 70, and Mesut Ozil with 54. He is in elite company, legendary company. The second half began and Arsenal needed to kill the game. They didn't. They nearly broke it wide open. Ebereki Eze smashed a shot into the ground. The ball bounced up and clipped the top of the crossbar. Inches away from 2-0, inches away from breathing room. But the lead stayed at 1 and Burnley stayed in the game. And then came the moment that sent shockwaves through the stadium and sparked a controversy that is still being debated right now. The 65th minute. Kai Havertz, the same man who scored the goal, the hero of the evening, went in with his boot dangerously high on Burnley's Leslie Ugochukwu. It caught the midfielder on the back of his left calf. High boot, reckless challenge, clear endangerment. Clear. Referee Paul Tierney showed a yellow card. VAR reviewed it, and VAR decided it was not a red card. The reaction was immediate. ESPN's studio crew said Havertz was very lucky to avoid being sent off. The sentiment across social media was similar. Most observers felt a red card was fully justified. Had Havertz been dismissed, Arsenal would have been down to 10 men, protecting a 1-goal lead, against a Burnley side with nothing to lose and everything to gain for pride. The complexion of the match, and potentially the entire title race, could have changed completely. But VAR made its call. Havertz stayed on, and Arsenal held on. The final minutes were tense, nervous. 60,000 fans at the Emirates chewing their nails, watching the clock, willing the referee to blow his whistle. But David Raya's goal was never seriously tested. Burnley mustered just 5 shot attempts, all game, 0 on target. Arsenal's defensive unit, described by Declan Rice after the game as something he has never seen before in his career, did their job perfectly. Clean sheet number 32 of the season in all competitions. Their 5th clean sheet in their last 6 matches in the league. Arsenal's back 4 and goalkeeper have been so consistent, so disciplined, so professional throughout this campaign that Declan Rice openly admitted he does not know where this club would be without them. Speaking of Declan Rice, let's talk about what he said after the final whistle, because it painted a picture of exactly what this moment means to everyone inside that dressing room. Rice was emotional, genuinely emotional. He spoke about the journey this club has been on over the last 10 years, the ups and downs, the painful defeats, the near misses. He arrived at Arsenal, and he said he already knew the story before he got there. He had heard about the heartbreak, he had understood the hunger, and now being part of what is happening, standing on the edge of history. He called it so special. 3 points is 3 points, he said, but he was also honest about the difficulty. The first half, Arsenal played their best football, dominant, direct, dangerous. The second half was always going to be hard, he acknowledged, because of the weight of what was at stake, the nature of the season, the magnitude of the moment. But they got through it. They always get through it now. It is in our hands, Rice said. Those 4 words. That is the mentality of a title-winning team. They turned it around after the City defeat. They won every game since. They stayed positive. They stayed focused. And now, 1 win away, they know exactly what they need to do. So what happens next? Let's break it down. Manchester City needed to win away at Bournemouth on Tuesday night to keep the title race alive until the final day. And here is the crucial context. Bournemouth have not lost a single home game in 8 matches since Arsenal beat them 3-2 at the Vitality Stadium back in January. 8 games. Unbeaten at home. And City were playing their 3rd match in just 7 days, running on fumes. On top of that, Pep Guardiola himself may be leaving Manchester City at the end of this season. Reports have emerged linking Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca as his potential successor. Whether that distraction has played a role in City's form is impossible to prove, but the timing is interesting. If City dropped points against Bournemouth, which was very much a real possibility, Arsenal would have been crowned Premier League champions on Tuesday evening without even kicking a ball. Just like that. 22 years of waiting ended by results elsewhere. But even if City won and kept the pressure on, Arsenal still held all the cards. They travelled to Selhurst Park to face Crystal Palace on Sunday in the final game of the season. At worst, Arsenal need 1 win, 1 result, against Crystal Palace. And if they get it, the league title is theirs regardless of what City do. Meanwhile, Arsenal also have a Champions League final on May 30th against Paris Saint-Germain in Budapest, Hungary. They have never won the Champions League. Never. Not once in their 144-year history. The possibility of winning the Premier League and the Champions League in the same season, the domestic and European double, is sitting right in front of them. Arsenal fans held up a banner before the Burnley match that read 3 games to make history. Premier League title. Champions League final. That banner was not wishful thinking. That banner was a statement of belief from a fan base that has suffered long enough. Let's zoom out and appreciate the full picture of what Mikel Arteta has built at this football club. When Arteta arrived in December 2019, Arsenal were in complete disarray. 8th in the Premier League. No direction, no identity, no confidence. He inherited a bloated squad, a fractured dressing room, and a fan base that had completely lost faith. In his first full season, he won the FA Cup, his first trophy as a manager. People were happy, but the league felt like a distant dream. Then came the rebuild, year by year, window by window. Arteta brought in players who fit his system, technically excellent, mentally resilient, tactically disciplined. Gabriel and Saliba as one of the best centre-back partnerships in the world. Declan Rice from West Ham. Eze from Crystal Palace. Calafiori from Bologna. Player by player, the squad became more complete. 3 consecutive second-place finishes felt agonising at the time. Now, in hindsight, they look like stepping stones. Each near miss toughened the group. Each defeat taught them something. And now, in 2026, they are standing on the doorstep of history with a squad that is arguably the most complete Arsenal side since the Invincibles. And what a contrast in styles this is compared to that 2004 team. The Invincibles were fluid, attacking, spectacular. Goals from every angle. Bergkamp's vision, Henry's pace, Pires' elegance. They were a joy to watch and almost impossible to beat. This Arsenal team is different. They are organised first, creative second. They grind results. They defend as a unit. They score from set pieces. They rotate the ball. They press high. They are not always beautiful to watch. Monday night against Burnley was not pretty. But they win. And in the end, in a title race, that is the only thing that matters. 32 clean sheets across all competitions this season. 69 Premier League goals scored. 5 points clear with 1 game to play. A Champions League final to come. By any measure, this has been an extraordinary season. Let's also take a moment to appreciate what it means for the players personally. Bukayo Saka, the boy from Ealing in West London, who came through Arsenal's academy, who's been at this club his entire life, who has grown from a teenager making his debut into one of the best wingers in European football. If Arsenal win this title, Saka wins it as an Arsenal legend. A homegrown hero, a player who stayed loyal when the money could have pulled him elsewhere. Martin Odegaard, the captain, the Norwegian maestro who took the armband and became the heartbeat of this team. Quiet, intelligent, always in the right position, a player who makes everyone around him better. David Raya, the goalkeeper who was brought in on loan and then bought permanently. Calm, authoritative, commanding. He has been a rock behind that defence all season long. And Declan Rice, who arrived with enormous expectations and who has delivered every single week. A leader on and off the pitch, the engine room of this Arsenal team. These are not just good players. These are people who have invested years of their careers into making this moment happen. And they are now 90 minutes, or perhaps less depending on Tuesday's result, away from reaching the summit. Arteta himself deserves enormous credit. In a modern game where managers are fired at the first sign of trouble, Arsenal's ownership and board gave Arteta time. They trusted the process. They backed him in the transfer market. And Arteta repaid that trust by building something that is more than just a football team. He built a culture, a belief system, a group of players who do not panic, who do not shrink, who respond to adversity with their best football. After the loss to City in April, a lesser manager would have tinkered desperately, changed the formation, dropped key players, tried to protect what he had. Arteta went the other way. He named attacking lineups, he played on intuition, he trusted his players, and they rewarded his trust with 4 wins on the bounce. This is what elite management looks like. The fans deserve a mention too. 60,000 people inside the Emirates on Monday night, holding up banners, cheering every defensive clearance, chanting after the final whistle in a lap of appreciation that told the players everything they needed to hear. These supporters have waited 22 years. They have been mocked, they have suffered, they have watched other clubs celebrate while Arsenal stood empty-handed. They stayed, they kept believing, and now they are so close to seeing their team lift that trophy. If Arsenal do it, whether on Tuesday night via results elsewhere or on Sunday at Crystal Palace, the scenes will be unforgettable. 22 years of pain released in one moment of pure joy. And beyond the Premier League, May 30th in Budapest looms large. PSG in the Champions League final. Arsenal have never won European football's biggest prize, not once. And PSG, bankrolled by Qatari ownership, assembled one of the most expensive squads in the history of the game, are standing in their way. If Arsenal were to win both, the League and the Champions League, in the same season, it would rank among the greatest achievements in English football history. It would put this Arteta team in conversations alongside the greatest club sides ever assembled. Not just Arsenal's greatest, world football's greatest. The players know it. Arteta knows it. The fans know it. 3 games to make history. That is all that stands between Arsenal and immortality. 1 win. That is all that separates Arsenal from their first Premier League title since Arsène Wenger's Invincibles wrote their name into football folklore. 1 win to silence 22 years of near misses and painful second places. 1 win to give Mikel Arteta the legacy he has been building toward since the day he walked through the doors at the Emirates. 1 win to send 60,000 fans and millions around the world into scenes of joy that English football has rarely witnessed. Crystal Palace on Sunday. Or maybe just maybe. The party starts even earlier. The wait is almost over for Arsenal, for Arteta, for Saka, for Rice, for Odegaard, for every single supporter who has carried this club through the lean years. Glory is within reach, and we will be here to cover every moment of it. If you want to stay updated on all the biggest Arsenal stories, make sure you are subscribed to Arsenal Updates. Hit that like button, drop a comment telling us whether you think Arsenal will seal the title on Sunday, or if City can keep it alive. And share this video with every Gunners fan you know. We will see you in the next one.